Good morning, good morning. So nice to say that to people who are in the same time zone as me. Been having a lot of calls with UK people, and I'm in Australia at the moment. So, so it's nice to be in the same place. How are we doing? How you doing, Rebecca? How you doing, Mike? John? Very well. Good, good. Good. I'll just give it one more minute and just see if anyone else is going to jump in. It's a nice early start this morning. Oh, this room's a bit echoey, actually, isn't it? Nice early start this morning. Um, so we'll just give it one more minute. Thank you for showing up today. I'm going to be doing these every week just to share a little bit more about Uplevel, just to show primarily actually how you can automate different parts of your business. Whether you use Uplevel to do that, that's entirely up to you and your business model and what you like. There's plenty of tools available. Uplevel's just the one that I really like. I think it's a fantastic tool, and I think it's a good business asset. Being able to take your hands off the reins to a certain extent and automate specific functions and actions within your business. It just means you get to spend more time doing what you want to do, what you love doing, instead of, admin, which, well, I don't know about you, but I certainly don't enjoy. David, morning. Welcome. Brilliant. Okay. So let's jump on in. Thanks for coming this morning. My name is Matthew Watts. I'm going to be hosting this session. And what we're talking about is essentially how to get less admin and more growth in your business. We're talking about automation and systemizing. Specifically with Uplevel, it's a smarter way to run your business. But as I said to Rebecca just before, you could use any tool that you like for this. Now, before we jump in, my promise to you today is that this is not a sales pitch. This is intended to be a practical walkthrough to show you what's possible in terms of systemizing and automation, and give you some ideas to implement that's going to help you simplify your business and scale your business. Whether or not you choose to use Uplevel for this is completely up to you. We're all adults. What we're going to be covering today. So, why most systems are in fact slowing you down. The three tasks that your business software or your CRM should be doing. Like that, these are not negotiable. We're going to have a quick walkthrough of Uplevel, and then we're going to do a live Q&A at the end. There's three big problems that I see, professional service providers, coaches, consultants, advisors encountering when it comes to the technology that they're using within their business. The first of these is information overload. The huge amount of tools, of tactics, of solutions available to you and being thrown at you everywhere you turn, whether that's on LinkedIn, on Facebook, the internet in general, exhibitions, industry events, you're just completely bombarded with enormous volume of options. And that just creates confusion and indecision. This confusion and indecision leads to choice paralysis. So because a confused mind never buys, a confused mind also never takes any action. So your progress stalls. You can't make a good decision because you're paralyzed by the volume of options. And just as you get close to a decision, there is somebody else turning up with a different idea, a different process, or a different tool that you could use. And so the whole process, the whole cycle starts again. Another problem I see is that we have inconsistent or incomplete tech setups. So you're building your system over time. It's maybe you started your firm on your own, or you started your business with, a team of five, And then as that grows, as you get more clients, as you get more team, you need to add more functionality to the system that you've got. So you're adding stuff as and when you need it. So that means that you're adopting systems for one specific piece of functionality. So you might use Keep, for example, specifically for bulk emailing. And then you might use Calendly for online scheduling. And then you might have Skype for voice over internet protocol, for online calls and for voice calls and video calls. And so you're just grabbing bits and pieces just as you need them. The problem is that these different tools don't always talk to each other correctly. They don't always integrate properly, which means that there's friction. Uh, you don't like using it, your team doesn't like using it. There's always a problem. And so it's not a good experience for you, for the people you're speaking with, or the people using the tools. So what starts as a solution to a problem, I need X because of Y, actually becomes a burden. It becomes almost a bigger problem than the one I was trying to solve. And lastly, there's very little guidance. There's almost no guidance or structure available to you and to coaches, consultants, professional advisors when they're setting up their tech. What do I need? How do I need it? How does it get implemented? What's best practice? So you're adding tools without a clear framework or strategy, which means you've got a bit of a patchwork system. Because there's no blueprint, because there's no plan, your business systems end up bloated, underutilized, and ineffective. So, to put that simply, it just means you've got too many things, not using any of them to their full potential, and because of that, it's ineffective, it's inefficient, it's actually costing you money and costing you time. There's no clear way to grow because everything's really confusing and everything's really time consuming. And I mean, it's not entirely your fault because you're an expert at coaching or business consulting or management accounting or whatever your thing is, not necessarily at systems, software, automation, process development, and that's fine. But it is a problem because of all of these things. I see really, really clever people, really highly skilled organizations, individuals just dropping the ball. They're using multiple tools that don't integrate properly, and so it creates friction, like we said before. And so things aren't done properly. Leads are falling through the cracks because, again, there's no system, there's no structure. It's all manual. Follow-ups are getting missed, so you're leaving money on the table. Trying to get appointments booked is, constant back and forth over email or telephone calls or SMS messages, and switching between tools, so from one system to the next platform to the other platform, wastes hours every week. Okay, so you're quite literally dropping the ball. So it's not about, this is the key thing I want you to take away here. It's not about getting another tool. It's about using the right tool to do the right thing. So stop thinking, oh, I have to, just because you have X function that needs to be accomplished doesn't mean that you then need to go and get another tool or another piece of software in order to accomplish that. Look at what you've already got. Do you have the tool that can do that? Maybe you already do. So when you get it right, when you've got the right tool doing the right thing, you unlock less admin time, which is always a win. You unlock more consistency in your business, so in your outreach, in your brand. You unlock more time in your business because suddenly you're more effective. You unlock more profit because you're using the tools you've got in the right way. So you're maximizing your output and you're maximizing their potential, the potential of the tool. You unlock more joy because it's just easier and things are better. And you unlock more growth because when you put together consistency, time, profit, and joy, you will inevitably grow your business. Now, it all begins, unlocking all of that begins with 3 key tasks that your CRM or your business system should be doing so that you don't have to. These are pretty simple tasks. They are smart scheduling, so getting appointments booked in the diary without the back and forth over email or telephone calls. It's automated follow-up so that no matter what's happening, whether someone's downloaded an ebook or they've signed up for a webinar or they've booked an appointment with you, they're automatically going to be getting reminders and emails without you having to go, oh, have I done that thing with Bob? And lastly, we've got a visual sales pipeline. I am a huge visual guy, so having a visual pipeline as opposed to, an Excel spreadsheet or post-it notes is a huge plus. And I'll show you what I mean when we jump into that. But if your CRM isn't doing these 3 tasks, then you should really have a think about switching systems because these are the foundation of automation and systemizing. There's so much more that a good CRM can do for you. If you want to find out how well your current systems are doing those things, let me know in the chat and I'll send you through my little checklist here. It just runs through a couple of symptoms of a system that's performing well and a couple of symptoms that a system isn't performing well. Let me know if you want that. Yep, sure thing, David. Not a problem at all. Actually, yeah, I'll just pop that in the chat now. There we go. Not a problem. Yeah. Yeah, do just go through that. It will let you know whether your system's doing a really good job or doing a mediocre job or doing a terrible job. And then you've got some data upon which you can make a decision. I'm all about data. Yeah. So smart scheduling, automated follow-up, and visual sales pipeline. It's not negotiable. Your CRM should be conquering those tasks. So let's jump in and have a look at how Uplevel accomplishes those things for you. So the first thing we're going to look at is our smart scheduling. This is inside the Uplevel dashboard. We've just gone to calendars, and this is the month. So this is a high-level month view. If we go into calendar settings, you can see here, these are the different calendars, so the different conversations. If you think of a calendar like a conversation, that can happen in this is actually in my business for my podcasting agency. So these are the different conversations that can happen. We've got a pick my brain call, we've got a proper conversation, we've got a demo, we've got a discovery call, we've got a catch up, we've got a quick call, and we've got a value trade call. And you can see that some of these are in a group called Let's Talk, and some of these are just individual standalone calendars. Now, groups are really good because they allow you to group conversations that are in the same theme or function or purpose or objective. So, for example, I've got these in the Let's Talk group. So if I just show you what that looks like. So I've put this group onto, this is just a web page. So I've added it to a web page. And you can see here, these are just the general all-purpose conversations that someone can book with me. A quick 10-minute phone call, 20-minute Zoom or phone call, 45-minute Zoom call, and then a pick my brain session. I've kind of put all those together. Now, I've got clients using Uplevel who use the groups for all kinds of things. One of these for a group called quarterly review. And then each person that the client could book with actually has their own calendar. So this is quarterly review, and then it's, Annette, Jill, James, Mark. Yeah. Another client uses it for internal meetings as well as client facing or supplier facing or sales and marketing facing meetings. And so they're the managing partner of the firm. He has a group, and so you can, all the staff, they don't need to say, oh, I need to speak with you. They just jump onto his group and they go, right, I need a 10-minute conversation. I need a 30-minute conversation. I need an hour-long conversation. Or maybe this is a finance review conversation. Or so whatever it is, it's all there ready to go. So there's no emailing, there's no knocking on the office door saying, oh, James, can I just grab you for 10 minutes? It's just book straight in, job done, time saved. So efficient. It's such a beautiful system that Elizabeth has got set up. I really like to see it. So yeah, they're the calendars that we've got, and think of a calendar like a conversation. So this discovery call calendar, for example, is, as you probably guessed, a sales conversation. So we've opened it up, and if you were going to create a new calendar, then it would be done exactly the same way. You would just put in your calendar name, put in a little description there, choose a URL, and then how do you want this to look when it's in someone's calendar? So that's what the invite title is. What's the location? So think of that, is it a telephone call? Is it a Zoom call or a Teams call? Is it a face-to-face meeting? So you input all of that, and then you would input your availability. So you can see here, we've got different times, 6:30 till 9:15, because I'm currently in Australia, so I need that extra availability at the front and back of the day for UK and American people. But you can have these different, you can turn days on and off. So really easy, really simple to set up. And if you've got specific days or times coming up that you're not available, then you can just add those really simply in there. I like to use that for things like bank holidays, public holidays, Christmas, Easter, maybe you want your birthday off, anything like that. You can just pop it in there. And then this is great as well. These are the different pieces of information that you capture from people when they're booking a call with you. Really easy to set up, really easy to use. And another nice feature is that you can turn these into a paid event. So as I've done with my Pick My Brain session, that is a paid for meeting. So when somebody's just going to pick my currency, when somebody is scheduling their appointment with you, scheduling their meeting, they won't be able to finish scheduling until they've either paid the full amount, or maybe they pay a deposit. Maybe it's 25% deposit, and then just enter a little description. Oh, we take 25% deposit for all of our meetings, whatever it is, whatever your blurb is. That's all nice and easy to set up there. I'll give you a look at what that looks like on the front in a second. But once you've got your calendars all set up, that's it. That's the hard work done. Come over here, connect your Google Calendar, connect your Outlook calendar, whatever system you're using. You can add those. You can also add your iCloud calendar, and we've just added Calendly as well, so that you can, if you're moving from Calendly into Uplevel, then you can make that transition really easily, because you're going to sync all of your events. And we know that's, you don't want to miss these things when you're migrating a system. That's the scheduling. That's the back end. That's the boring bit. That's the hard bit. You can add your video conferencing, so it will automatically create a meeting when somebody books an appointment. So it's so simple. It's so smart. And then you can do lots of different things with it. So you could embed it into a web page like this. This page was actually built in Uplevel. This is a WordPress page that we have stuck the group into. Once somebody picks the call they want, and then they're going to choose the time they want, and then they'll just enter their details here. This particular call, the catch-up call, has two different possible locations. It can either be a Zoom call or a telephone call. So they're just going to choose whichever one suits them best. And then they'll schedule, and then there'll be a little confirmation that comes. Actually, let's run through that just while we're here. We're going to schedule that. And then whatever happens afterwards, you could set that up. You could redirect them to another page that says, "Oh, this is how you get ready for your call." I've just chosen to have just a thank you message appear, and then it's just going to say, "Do you want to add it to your calendar?" And they will automatically get an email that says, "Hey, here's the confirmation of your booking," all that fun stuff. And this is same thing. This is just embedded on a page, but instead of it being a group, as it was here with multiple calls, this is just the calendar for my discovery session. So lots of different ways that you can apply the pages to the calendars to be front facing. You can also, here we go. So this is the direct link. So that's not embedded on a web page. That's just a link straight to the calendar. So you could put that in the bottom of your email. You could send it in a text message, and someone would still be able to book with you without having to, build a page to host your calendar. And that's just what it would look like. So nice and easy to set up there. Which leads us really nicely onto our second task, which is automated follow-up. So once somebody's booked an appointment with you or downloaded your ebook or whatever the action is that they've taken, you want to make sure that you're in constant communication with them, that you're nurturing them, giving them valuable information, keeping them aware that the meeting's coming up, and just building that relationship with them. And that is super easy inside your Uplevel account. Here I am in automations. So we're just in the same menu on the left-hand side here. We've gone from calendar down to automations. And these are the workflows or the automations that I've got set up. So I've got them in different categories. Keeping things organized in your CRM is really important. But if we jump over to the appointment engine here, you can see I've got workflows for all of the possible outcomes of a sales conversation. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to confirm the booking. Here we are. We're tagging the person. We're creating an opportunity in our sales pipeline so we can visually see what's going on. We're sending an internal notification to the team to say, congratulations, you got a call booked. And that's all for that workflow. And then we come back out. And the next one is, oh, actually, the team's been changing this. So this one down here is actually our reminder sequence with all the emails. We rejigging things around. We always do that. We're always looking to optimize and make the system and the processes better. And one of the advantages of using a system like this is you can see, oh, email one's getting lots of opens, is being read, but email two, people aren't opening it in your reminder sequences. So then you can go back and change things. If somebody cancels a call, then we have a little sequence here that says, oh, look, really sorry that you've canceled. Why don't you rebook? And if they don't rebook, and then we try and find out why they canceled. And that's all automated. You don't need to do anything there. If they don't show up to the call, another sequence of emails that say, hey, why didn't you show up? Love to have you back. Oh, this is in two parts because there's different reasons and different ways that the system might be notified that nobody showed up. So after part A has taken place, we move to part B, which is then where we try and get them to rebook. And all of this is happening without you. And then we have our proposal call confirmation. So somebody's had a discovery call that went really well. You've booked them onto a call to give the proposal. And then there's the confirmation and the reminders there. And then maybe they didn't close, or maybe they were a bad fit. And so there's some automations around there. We tag them as bad fit, and then nothing else happens. Or maybe it was just that they didn't close, and so we're going to add the follow-up lead and a few more actions after that. So automations are a really, really clever way to essentially control the experience that you want people to have. So if somebody has booked an appointment, for example, you get to control the environment that they're in before that call. So you might want to send them critical pieces of information about you or your firm or your services or your successes. Maybe it's testimonials, maybe it's a case study, maybe it's a couple of videos sent a couple of days after each other, giving them all the information that they're going to need to be in a really good place to make a purchasing decision with you when they have that call. Maybe they've downloaded an ebook. And so you deliver the ebook to them in the first message, and then you have another series of messages that direct them to book a call, to find out more, whatever your customer journey is. But you're automating all of that. And so you can make it really robust and really complete, and more comprehensive than you could if you were trying to manually follow up with people who had taken an action with your business somehow, downloaded, scheduled, clicked, whatever. And so that's the way that we automate our follow-ups. It's really simple and really easy to do. And then lastly, we have the visual sales pipeline. In our menu on the left here, we are at pipelines, and you can see pretty simply and easily if I didn't explain this to you at all, I'm sure you could figure out what this represented and the potential income that was available to this business. And that's the power of a visual sales pipeline, is you can just click into it and almost instantly see and understand what's going to happen in your business. So you can see here we have 2 new leads, and these are each worth 1,000. So that's a £2,000 worth of new opportunities. One of these has come from organic, and one of these has come from LinkedIn. And how many days since the last stage change? That's 1 day. So a stage change is when they move from this stage to this stage. If I was to refresh the page, you'll see that Tyra's details will update. See, today. Okay. So what is a pipeline? A pipeline is essentially just a journey. This is the journey that someone goes through when they become a lead, and then they move through these to becoming a client. You can have as many or as few stages as you like. I have a sales pipeline. It's actually not a sales pipeline, but I have a pipeline with 1 stage. You can also use these a little bit like Trello boards. So in my podcasting agency, for example, I have 17 tasks that need to be done in the first 4 weeks of somebody becoming a client. And so I have all of these tasks mapped out here. And it's something like input into the system, create Google folder and share, schedule the 6 months worth of meetings, send welcome email. And so we're moving people along, and I can instantly see where they are and what is the next thing that needs to happen. And so that's a really cool application for your visual pipeline that isn't sales related, but is a great way to keep on top of things that are happening in your business, and to make sure that the journey that people are going on with you is controlled and mapped out and managed so that nothing is missed, because that's what we're trying to do here. So another thing I love about pipelines is we've got individual opportunities. So Tanette, this is all dummy information, but Tanette has filled in a form and downloaded my ebook. So now she's a lead. A cold lead might be someone that's been in your list for 2 weeks, for example, but not taken any other action. They've not clicked in an email. They've not visited a web page. So they've gone a little bit cold. You can see here that Carl and Josie have booked discovery calls. And when they booked those calls, they did it on a page like this. And our automation, oops, on a page like this. And then our automation updated the opportunity and said, right, we need to move them from new lead or cold lead into booked discovery call. So I didn't have to drag them over like that. That just happened automatically when they booked their call. And once they've booked that call, they're automatically going to receive the reminder emails and the information that I want them to have in order to prepare and be in the right mindset and the right space for the call that we're going to have. You can see here that Aline didn't turn up. So I logged on, I went to have my call with her. She didn't turn up, so I just moved her from booked into no-show. And that's going to automatically fire off the 3 emails over 4 days to say, hey, Aline, why didn't you show up? Let's get you rebooked. I know life happens. Let's get you, let's have that conversation. Kylie cancelled her call, so she clicked into her calendar event and she cancelled the call. So Uplevel automatically moved her from booked into cancelled, and then we'll send her a sequence of 3 emails over 6 days that say, hey, so sorry you cancelled. What happened? How can we make this right? Let's have a conversation. At the end of my call with Jose, I've decided he's a really good fit. So we booked a proposal session on the call, and then I've dragged him over to that, and he's automatically going to receive the reminders 3 days, 1 day, and 1 hour before that session. And so can you see how easy this is to operate and how well it can be applied to your business? Can you see how it could change the way that you're thinking about your conversations and the way that you're thinking about preparing your contacts for those conversations? So you don't have to go, right, it's in 2 days. Oh, I better email him or I better drop him a text to make sure he remembers it's on. All of that can be taken care of through the automations that you've seen inside your Uplevel account. Whatever you want to do, you could send a text message. We might decide to send an SMS and say, hi, got your cancellation. Everything okay? And you wouldn't even need to do that. But that's a really personal message that they're more than likely to respond to. And so that's just another way to keep that lead in the bucket, keep them in the system, keep them moving forward, and just provide a really good personal service. Personal service has gone out the window in the last 10 years. So if you're the organization that can provide that level of service, that high level of service, high touch, high frequency level of customer service, then you're going to stand out from the crowd. And automations are a fantastic way to do that. And that's almost everything. So I finished my conversation with Jose. I'm just going to grab his card and I'm going to move him down here to 1. So we could either lose that, we could win it, or we could abandon it. So maybe if somebody is unresponsive, they don't show up, they don't answer emails, then we would move that down to abandoned. If they were a bad fit, we can move them over there. I actually have an automation. So if I have a proposal session and I don't take money on the phone or on the call, I'll send them a link to where they can, fill in the contract and make their first payment. And then when that happens, they are automatically moved over to close and then marked as 1 here in the status. So you don't even need to manually do that. Now, it just depends on the way that you have your sales conversations as to what's going to be the most appropriate way to manage changing, updating the status of a call. But in here, in these cards, you can see that we can book future appointments. So maybe he wants to have a follow-up chat again. So we could book that straight in. Maybe I want to create a task for someone else on my team or for myself, just to follow up with Jose in 2 days to make sure that he's got everything he needs. Maybe I just want to add a note. Really good conversation. He raised this objection, so we spoke about that. And maybe he's made a payment, or you need to go in and create an estimate or create an invoice. Then you can do all of that as well. So the pipeline, the visual pipeline, is an amazing tool for you, for your sales team, for your appointment setting team. It can be used in quite a few different ways, as we've kind of gone through, and having the automations to back everything up, to create that automatic follow-up, to create that lead nurture sequence, turns your conversations into just more powerful events for you, your business, and your clients. Okay, so you'll see your conversion rates go up. You'll see the time spent on admin go down. So you're just going to end up with more profit at the end of the day. Hopefully now you can see how Uplevel CRM equals less admin and more growth. It is a smarter way to run your business because you're going to be using fewer tools, so you're not patching together systems. You're going to create more time because you're doing less admin. You're going to have better systems. You're going to feel less stressed, and you're going to have more profit. A couple of quick testimonials from a few people here about Uplevel in and of itself. So we've got Duncan Lloyd over at Profit First UK and Ecom Profit Genie. Elizabeth, she is head of marketing for Blue Water and ProPact. And then Kevin, he's inside accounts, and he has a niche firm as well, Kevin D. Bannister, that works with kitchen and bathroom installers and manufacturers. And yeah, so it's quite robust. It's very diversely used. Lots of different doesn't matter what your audience or your niche is. The applications of Uplevel are still going to be the same. If you want to, you can go to Uplevel by Umf, find out all the details, get started today. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. I said this wasn't going to be a sales pitch. So let's talk. Any questions, any use cases, any challenges that you've got or that you see? What have you got? What have you got? Yes, David, good point. Okay, so here we are. So this is the sales pipeline, as you've said. And where can you find all the data for this? Really good question. So if we go to dashboard, just in this menu on the left here, this is your kind of control panel. This is the first screen you see when you log in. I didn't share the dashboard because I didn't want to, kind of overwhelm everybody. But this is the first screen you see. So you can customize this however you like, but we've kind of got this one set up so that you can see the pipeline data. So opportunities. So how many opportunities do we have? So an opportunity is the cards in the pipeline. So that's an opportunity, that's an opportunity, that's an opportunity. So it's just letting you know how many you have in your pipeline. What's the value of all of those combined? So you can see that we've won £1,000 and we have open £12,500. So that's a total potential revenue of 13.5. What's my conversion rate? So of all of the opportunities that we've had in the last month, we've won 8.3% of them. So that's that one that has been marked as one. And then we can have a look at our funnel. So this funnel has earned us 1,000 because we've only marked one of these as one over the last month. And you can see the breakdown here. So everybody started as a new lead. Some people moved to cold lead. 66% of our new leads went on to discovery call. So this is really good because you can see we've got a bit of a drop off. 20% of our discovery calls drop and they don't make it to the proposal. So why are they dropping? You might want to go, okay, so what's happening here? Is the discovery call, does it need changing? Does it need revamping? Or are the leads that are coming in the wrong leads? And so you can diagnose issues with your funnel just by using this view. And then you can see this is essentially the same information, but just presented slightly differently. So you can see how many people are in each stage, because you can see we've got 12 opportunities. And so where are they? Okay, so we've got 3 cold leads. We've got 2 closed. We've got 1 that needs following up. So that just shows you the distribution. So this shows you the flow, and this shows you the distribution of where people are in that flow. And then, there's all kinds of other information that you can have down here on your dashboard. But that's where you would see your data. So your hard data. So there's 2 ways to view your pipeline. You've got the visual representation, and then you've got the hard data here. And if you've got more than one pipeline, you can switch between them. Or maybe you want to see your sales pipeline, and maybe you want to see your onboarding pipeline, for example. And so you can have those 2 side by side and look at the data for each. It just depends on how you want to lay it out. So that's where that is. Great question, well spotted. I'll include that in my next demo. Okay, any other questions? Any other use cases? Yeah, yep. Wasn't specifically covered in today's. I just wanted to try and keep this pretty short, and again, just not overwhelm people. But yeah, you can. So if I just go to people, oh, sorry. Michelle has just asked, what does the CRM function kind of actually look like? What does the database look like? So if we go to people, you can see here, these are all the contacts in this test account. This is all randomized dummy data, so please don't worry. If I was to click into one, so you can see in the central column here, anything that's kind of happened. So we've created an opportunity. If a text message had been sent, or an SMS message, or a WhatsApp, or an Instagram DM, any of those would show up in this central column. So all communication and activity shows up here. Left-hand column is the contact record. So it's all the information you have on that person. And you can create new fields in here and add whatever information you want to capture. But we've got, business name, street address, time zone that they're in, our calendar spaces. So this is a question that can be added, that was added to a form. So, make sure you're going to show up to the call. These are just, questions that have been created to ask, how likely are you to recommend us? Sales qualifying question that you could add to a form. That's another one. That's another one. These are for tracking the success of your Facebook ads. So they have UTM links, so that's a bit geeky. Any tags that have been applied, so you can see that this person's on the summer promo list. Are they in any automations, active or past? Do we have an opportunity? Yes, they're in the cancelled in the sales pipeline, and we can just open that straight up if we want to. On the right here, this column's really cool. So on the right here, if they were visiting web pages or anything like that, that would show up here in activity. Because Uplevel will connect to your website, and it'll be able to tell what web pages people are landing on, and so it shows you all of that, what forms they're filling in, you know, what emails they're clicking, all of that kind of stuff. Then we've got tasks. That's pretty self-explanatory. Then we've got notes, again, pretty self-explanatory. Appointments, you could book an appointment from here. So yeah, really. So okay, so maybe I've needed to have a call with Kelly, and if we're going down a rabbit hole, sorry about that. Maybe I need to have a call with Kylie. So I've logged in, I've pulled up her contact record, I've gone through the information that's in here, and then I've just, well, there's no phone number with this demo account, but then I've, you know, called her up. I've made a couple of notes, and then I've booked an appointment for her with, you know, the sales team or whatever the appointment's going to be. So all of that can happen inside a person's contact record. So you don't necessarily have to click from this to that to this to that. It can all happen in here because we're all about making things smart and efficient and optimizing your time and the way that you work. Then we've got documents. So maybe we want to add you know, upload a PDF of a contract or whatever the document might be. You can do that. You can take payments in their contact record. And then maybe Kylie is one of 10 people at a company that you do business with. And so you would see that in here. She's associated to this company, and you can create custom objects, which is very geeky, and we're not going to go into that. But does that help? Does it? Yeah. Okay. Great. Brilliant. Anything else? Anything else? I know we're getting really close to time. No, that's all right. That's all right, Sarah. You can go. You can go. Um, yeah, no worries. Yeah, if you do want to catch up, just go to matthewjwatts.com/talk, which is actually this page with the calendar group on it. I'll just pull that up. There you go. And just book the session that you want. Most people tend to book proper conversation, but you book whichever one you want. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, thanks, David. Okay. Brilliant. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. Really appreciate you showing up today. Enjoy the rest of your day. And if you want to talk some more, please book a call down below. If you want to start using Uplevel, and just go to uplevelbyoomph.com. And yeah, hope to see you or speak with you in the future. Thanks.